Crying Wise Cam dismantling as IG with the 2-1 over AL. Folks, we don't go to a break here. Instead, we get ready for the next series. We're going to be going straight into this one. LGD WE is playing over in Xi'an. Started at 9 p.m. my time, which is 37 minutes ago. So we are going to be going back-to-back, no breaks whatsoever until we get up to live. So with that, game one, I'm assuming draft will pop up on our screen shortly. And Nymaera, we can talk about this one a little bit closer because, yeah, look, WE 5-4. This team is a playoff potential team. They haven't played nearly as many series as anyone else. Their schedule is very approachable towards the end of the split. And going up against LGD today, who are our 17th place team, this should be WE favored.
I will say, though, specifically in Game 1, LGD are like the anti-OMG, where Game 1, they are on it. They've prepared well. They have a really good ability to take games in Game 1. They took games off of BLG. They took a game off of BLG. They took a game off of JDG. The problem was the double tap. They couldn't get a second game in pretty much any of their series. They've only walked away with just the one series win for themselves, but can they hit home in Game 1? It's a specialty of theirs, Team WE. They need to really start stamping home their own authority because they have some wins to pick up themselves.
Well, WE are going up against Ziggs today, and LPC pulling out something that really Gala has been favoring a lot here. Jackie Love a little bit as well. It has been quite common practice when we've had a Tristana in the mid lane, Nymaera, and they've just needed to fill in some of that AP damage ratio.
I think particularly when you have Tristana on the table, I mean, the first thing about this kind of composition is if you give over a Herald, say goodbye to your turrets. It doesn't matter which lane you throw it down in, someone is going to be able to absolutely shred through those turret plates. And that's a great way to snowball the game. Tristana has been a mainstay of a team like LNG, not just because Gala plays that Ziggs, but also because Scout is a very good player of it as well. So Haichao will have to show what he's made of on this champion. Jace, the other AD mid laner, which can enable this kind of composition. But it really is on this Tristana and the Herald plays to snowball ahead of this game, which makes this composition so disgusting to play against.
I mean, already LGD are going to get a favorable trade here. Haichao starting E. Shanks just having to walk away as he's on the wrong side of the map to get back into his lane. Haichao still willing as he's trying to play for that cooldown. One more second. If Shanks comes in, it's just E again. Shanks has to be so careful as no trade going to go further than that. LPC dragged in. This is a much spicier start as Hope and Lwandy getting an okay trade, but Lwandy left on his lonesome in the lane as no AD carries or AP carries are able to pick up the first 3 minions.
Now the thing is, it's not necessarily about the gold, it's about the XP in this case. You can see that in the mid lane, Shanks has to back off. Leona taking big damage as well. If you're out of range for XP, level 2 becomes that much more threatening. Means you have to potentially be at risk of a level 2 or level 3 dive under the turret. Heng can hit level 3 off these Krugs. At this point, this can be very dangerous.
God, Lwandy, just as soon as Q's up, he must press it. Always going in as Heng is now level 3 himself, but 2 hit, the pressure there. Meteor walking down, but he'll be on an entry ward. That will give WE the information if they want to continue this dive.
Okay, they're level 2 under turret. I think that's safety. I think level 2 is safety. They couldn't get the wave crashed before level 2 was hit. That would have been a huge moment for Team WE. So they're going to walk away with a bit of trading onto the enemy bot lane, but not a huge win. They don't deny that many minions. It's hard to deny Ziggs farm unless you're consistently holding him outside of auto range. And they're going to be able to stop Hope and Lwandy also recalling at this point. So Team WE's early plans not necessarily coming to fruition, especially with mid lane falling behind as well with those early trades going in the favor of Haichao.
Whoa. There's Ignite though. JinJiao has to flash away. I mean, Lwandy's hooks have been on point so far. LPC up next as the stacking damage from Hope is huge. Wait for another volley. Hope's got flash available, but he won't pull the trigger. LPC is going to have to back away, and I mean, this duo is nailing down the 2v2.
Yes. Luckily, on Ziggs, you do take teleports. You can get back under this tower, manage to collect that wave. It's not like you're going to lose absolutely all of it. Also means you don't have a combat summoner to survive those kind of plays. LPC, nerves of steel. Level 3 hit by Hope and Lwandy before the level 3 of JinJiao and LPC. At least they're able to deny a little bit of CS that time. But again, LPC and JinJiao still keeping themselves in the lane.
But I will say, plate goes over for Hope. And that's a very big deal here, already starting out in a great 2v2 fashion for WE. Hope has been someone we've looked towards consistently. You know, Cube's coming to the roster and we've hyped him up, but let's be real, Hope and Lwandy have been a really fun lane to look at As WE now, topside could be an advantage here. Decade with the flash on, or rather it's Heng who does that. The flip doesn't connect, a little bit too far forward he is. So Decade survives that, but has to burn his flash to get out of it.
So it's HP away, flash away, Cube gets to keep his. So Cube going to have the individual advantage in the 1v1 and also have an extra ability to survive a Jack Sejuani combo should it come in. Earlier in the day, we saw a couple of Jack Sejuanis not really play towards the top 2v2. Sejuani is here now. I don't think there's a great angle to go towards top lane, though. That Maokai having no flash, though, removes some ability to play around 2v2s elsewhere on the map, should LGD run into that Maokai again.
We'll see where he goes next. So far, pretty proactive here from Heng, trying to pick up the level 3 dive towards bot side. The setup for top, after burning his flash, as you just mentioned. It's been a very busy game for him, as Meteor now coming back out on the map after his quick reset for a double Ruby Crystal. Both junglers going to be on the bottom side here, as bot seems to be the juiciest lane with lots of CC to boot.
So, junglers back out onto the map after that first clear. As you were saying, hey, Ruby Crystals for both of them. So, what does this mean? What are we looking for in the next couple of minutes? I think control of bot lane means a lot, because that also means the control of the ability to roam up towards Herald. That means these plays are very important.
Cleanse, Satchel Charge actually doing the opposite of what LBC wanted. Dredgeline for the re-engage, trying to slowly bait this in. Heng is walking his way down, but Meteor's still healthy enough here as they've got an inkling that he was nearby. And 3v3, maybe now commencing. I'm not sure if you win this with a Maokai against the Ziggs. LGD a little bit ambitious as Zenith Blade's taken. JinJiao playing with fire, but what I want is the flash comes through. Haichao numbers gives him a massive advantage, and he picks up his first kill of the series.
You can absolutely understand why the focus is towards the bot side of the map. If you win these bot side trades, it gives you the ability to leave bot lane easier when it comes to the first objectives of the game. I think both these teams have to understand that Herald is going to be a huge objective given the amount of tower killers on the side of LGD. Either denying that or claiming it for themselves is very, very important. So, as it stands, this play, as it kind of fizzles out with 1-for-1, it doesn't give that huge opening just yet, but what of course does matter is the fact that you don't have that flash on this Maokai to lock down that first target quite as easily. The hook does it just as well. It does mean the retreat is much harder from the side of WE. Heng can't stick around any longer, can't stick around for the second round of cooldowns. It means that Haichao gets free reign to walk in and get himself a kill for himself.
I have to say, I mean, Lwandy's hooks though this game have been so good. They've been on point. They've been slick, and he's hit pretty much everyone that we've come across. So for WE, despite giving that kill over to the Tristana, we've got a kill on Hope in this bottom lane. Let's see how it shifts gears as Shanks with a good trade here mid in the meanwhile. Just kind of abusing the fact that Haichao, it's rocket jump or nothing with that flash down and available as well. Or unavailable, I should say. 500 gold lead here in the early game. Dragon set up the vision for WE. Now we kind of just wait and see if there's going to be a handshake deal here, because it's coinciding with the Herald Spawn that you talked about. That's going to be so important for LGD. And surely as WE, you have to call this and say, well, we cannot give away this objective so easily to this pushing squad.
Lwandy is recalling, so I wonder where he will head on this reset. See that Meteor would really love to hit level 6 for this Herald. Really needs it, honestly. First ultimates in the game. So impactful around that Herald. So it is going to be the case of both supports briefly leaving lane. You've got the map hacks coming out of Hope, though. As the hawk shot goes across the map, we'll see Meteor just having cleared that buff towards that top side. Supports aren't there just yet. Haichao will be the first mid to the play as it stands, but Shanks gets into the river instead.
Shanks still feeling pretty strong. Triple longsword there as LPC's walking up. Hope stays in lane, but Hope will have the enchant across the arrow to fly across as Lwandy gets out of there instead of getting on top of JinJiao. Great ulti from Meteor as well. Shanks now caught between 3 people and LPC's ulti, which picks up the killer's Decade. In a bit of trouble, Flash is burnt to get away. Cubes was about 5 seconds from picking up as he forces out top lane, but Herald still starts again with LGD finding the mid lane kill.
It's a split decision. We still have the Maokai ult. Cube just about to run out of his ult form, though. I'm not sure if this fight is completely over. WE do choose to retreat, though. That will be the end of that. And LGD, this is their moment. They're getting themselves that Herald. They have a Tristana. They have a Ziggs. Whoever they manage to throw that, whoever's lane they manage to throw that Herald into is going to be under a huge amount of pressure beyond that point. If it's within Satchel Charge range to destroy the turret from Ziggs, or Tristana gets to walk up with a bomb. That tower is completely gone, and the plates are going to go with it. Here's how it starts, though. It does those support roams, which come out very impactful. JinJiao combos up with his jungler. Jungle support getting all the CC down. Shanks on that Jace. Really nothing you can say about that. That full CC combo, it's not something that a Jace can survive.
Insane follow-up. Really, really good stuff from LGD's LPC. I mean, picks up the kill from afar. And so now your two pushers have an incredible amount of gold that's just been given over to them. Incredible, or a decent amount, I should say, as they also picked up Herald and Dragon still on the menu. WE weren't able to make a trade in the end. So as Dragon sits there, Meteor now trying to flourish with the idea with his mid laner and see what they can pull off.
We have that first ult of the game for Nautilus now up and available. JinJiao doesn't have level 6. That's an important discrepancy to factor in. If LGD are a little too careless about where they put this Herald, there's a chance that a big play comes in to counter that. Cube doesn't have ult right now, so can't take this fight quite as nicely as he would have liked to. Decade on the other side managed to escape that 2v1 towards the top side, of course, in that last play. Burned his flash and his ult to do so. You can see how aware WE are of the power that LGD currently have. They're playing reactive. They're trying to just keep man marking available so they know where LGD are moving across the map, but they can't really afford to commit to a play right now. If they end up losing a play, that's Herald with it. That's a full tower with it.
And it's going to be so quick as you're talking about it, whether it's Tristana lane, whether it's Ziggs lane. Either way, it's just going to be gone. WE still hovering over this Dragon, though. I mean, control in the back of the pit by LGD, so they know. And Meteor hasn't left the bottom side. He continues to hover. And there might even be set up towards mid here, Nymaera. I mean, getting the Dragon, as you're saying, it's just a flip here. LGD are going to get so much in return.
So the thing is, because Cube roams down, they will have an ability to stop the bomb going down. Problem is, that's like one auto attack from a Ziggs and a Satchel away from death. So if LPC teleports in, WE will have to station 1 or 2 people there for for as long as they want to keep this tower alive. I don't think they can keep this mid tower alive. What have they got? Maokai ult, maybe that can help them out. I don't think they're ready to fight though. They might just have to let this go.
I love this teleport play. I mean, again, just so well set up. Satchel, there you go. LPC teleports in. Dragon might go to WE, but gold is now 2,000 in favor by LGD. And look, this is looking like a great early game, Nymaera. This is looking like a really solid early game from LGD so far.
It's the anti-OMG. Game 1 is their like bread and butter. They always have one of these strategies for the first game. Typically, it's been something like a double AD carry with Kindred or Graves in the jungle, and then LPC, of course, on his own right as well. But this one's a little bit different. They've innovated it again. It has caught WE a little bit off guard. It felt fairly obvious that the Herald was going to be where the hammer blow would fall, but they weren't ready to receive that one. They got smacked in the face with it instead. What the hell, he just has things to do. LPC also gets a free auto attack on this turret. Ziggs has so much tower damage. His passive doing so much damage to it. It's going to be another couple of tower plays going down towards him.
So close to getting the next one. LPC wave clear with Leandries now as well. Absolutely huge. Sometimes we've seen, I'd say a lot of times we've seen tier come through from Ziggs, but LPC this game, not even optimizing for it. Just looks like it's going to be pure damage central, away from some of that stackability. And Nymaera, I think we are just going to chill out here in these lanes for the next 3 minutes or so, or even 2 till the next Herald, because of how much wave clear LGD has and how hard it is for WE to force.
Yeah, WE, they have a couple of responses. They have the Ash Arrow. Of course, that's something that we need to be really aware of. If you have that, especially if someone's grouped up and funneled into a Maokai ultimate, you can kind of corral people into the right place to get an easy arrow, and that leads into a Shock Blast and everything else. So WE, it's not like they're without options. They would love to get some vision first, though. It's hard to get that vision because of that wave clear you mentioned. So WE, I think they're waiting for a vision slip up from LGD, and then they can start thinking about using their own ultimates to punish LGD.
Well, bot side is their pure focus right now. LGD have got it covered in spades. WE, their vision in this early game, I mean, they've got a lot of control wards in the inventory. Yeah, I mean, it is.
How many spades do you think you need to cover a whole side of the map?
At least 3 at this point. At least, well, maybe all of them, as WE might have a pick, but Haichao is already backed away. So, WE just going to push their way in, and early game continues to be a little bit slower after all the shenanigans, all the action we had earlier. And to be honest, I am still trying to recover from IGAL. I admit, it's quite difficult. It's, you know, it's like someone being let out of a rehab facility into the fresh air, and they're like, I don't know how to react anymore. I don't know how to be. You know, it's very difficult.
Did you ever watch Cowboy Bebop? Great classic show.
I tried to get into it, but I never did.
That's fair. Well, there is one of the main characters very early on where, like, they've been frozen in cryo sleep because they had medical issues they couldn't solve with today's technology. And they were frozen for a great many years. And then they came out and well, maybe Futurama is a better way to look at this then. That's another thing, right?
Yeah.
You've been in cryo sleep for forever. And then you come out, it's like, wait, everything's changed. What do I do now? We do have, however, this new series to talk about. It's very different, luckily. Very different compositions, at least. We're not really seeing W manage to pull the trigger yet on their own one.
No, hovering around. I mean, Herald's just going to be started by LGD here. Look at where Cube is as he shoves in bot. He's going to have to teleport in if they want to contest this. But, yeah, the arrow hasn't been seen this game yet, has it? As teleport on the backside, arrow finally flying through, hits Meteor, but he's not going to be stunned up long as Herald goes down. It's actually over to LGD as WE look to lock down. Decade picks it up before he dies. But now LGD in a choke, and Cube almost gets the opportunity. He's chasing this one down, but just out of range after burning his flash. WE managed to find some gold, but it is still LGD who win out.
They get themselves the Herald, and of course that is very valuable. It is, however, on the top laner. It's a little harder to rotate around a top laner with Herald, and getting to put that down in the correct lane. Decade, of course, on the Jax. Pretty proficient at hitting towers himself, but it really is about the Tristana and the Ziggs opening up the map as much as possible. Mid lane out of turret, getting it with one Herald, that's already very valuable. You don't often see a mid lane turret taken down with just one Herald. So the second Herald, this is not a situation that we see that often in current pro play, where you have to choose a side lane turret to chuck it into. Dragon's up right now, though. That will delay Herald musings. Maybe look for a one fight into a Herald push.
Cube does have ulti, though, and as my voice cracks like a 12-year-old, JinJiao could be in trouble as he's being turned off at the time being. Good knockback. The ulti doesn't get much out of Decade as he all in from Heng. It's in and out and in and out as Shanks might have an angle as Hope is stepping up. The 80 carry out of everyone is just walking forward. Hope has no fear as the engage helps him out. Look at this man. That's why we put faith in him in the past. Quadra denied, but Shanks cleans it up. Ladies and gentlemen, WE have Hope again.
LPL 80 carries, man. Hope's on the list of one of our best performing 80 carries when he's on his game. This Ashe has been a little quiet for the early game, but that ult around the Herald set them up for success. And in this huge fight, LGD, they were just very lazy about how they approached this bot side of the map. They'd set up for the Herald, which meant that they didn't have vision towards this side of the plate. They were going in towards this river, but you're going into a river with the Ashe, Maokai, and the Jace following up as well. Yes, you have your own range to work with the Ziggs, but if you're not really comboing onto someone to have a big Ziggs ult, you're not really doing the same amount of damage, particularly when Hope and Shanks start to free fire across your team. And LGD, they just can't play on the defensive like this.
Look at his auto spacing. It's just great. Just Hope having a field day here. A quick triple, Quadra denied. Great stuff from the ex-JDG 80 carry. There's 4-0 and 2 now all of a sudden. Now, while we're in a replay, Decade also died. So WE have a 1k gold lead now. They've got 2 dragons. And even though LGD are picking up turrets and do have a turret lead, the fact that gold is even, well, Haichao might prove my point wrong in a second, is just a testament to that one opportunity they found that put some of these carries back in the game.
I think Decade died with a Herald push in top.
Yeah.
He did take a top lane in a turret. It is worth mentioning. So he's gotten a lot of value out of that. I would imagine that's what he did on his lonesome. I'm not sure if he did that with anyone else, but suddenly WE have no structures outside of their base besides one bot lane in a turret. However, it is completely right what you're saying, though. The gold is even. That's a problem. The team which I keep referencing in regards to Ziggs plays like this is 2018 KT Roadster, because they love playing bot lane Ziggs. But even though they were one of the best teams in the world at that point, I think it's particularly in spring before they kind of started popping off in summer, they would stall out around the inner turrets because you'd push down all the turrets that were easy to get. But that's all the standing gold you get. You need to continually be able to push up the tempo of the game, force Team WE into a situation which they can't respond to, and then take a one fight and end the game. If you can't do that, this team will stall out.
As arrow flies through close on the JinJiao. Heng actually might die. There's Solar Flare, the explosion, the Mega Inferno Bomb. LPC picks up a kill as WE tried to play it deep to get the punish on LGD.
So kill in place. That's nice. It gives LGD a bit of a reprieve. And when someone dies on WE now, they don't have the towers to keep themselves in a good state of vision. Blue buff still comes through. Team WE, they need to kind of be playing like this now, though. They need to be pushing LGD back, because if they are not pushing LGD in lanes, they don't have any towers to help them win the vision game. And that's a very difficult scenario to be involved in. How this starts is, of course, a bit over-ambitious. Hope's not there for damage. Shanks doesn't get himself a big combo either. Maybe if they'd locked down JinJiao a little longer, the Shock Blast would have come through. And Shanks with 2 items can add so much damage to the fray, but this game is, again, not done for WE.
No, not done for LGD either, though, as we've seen, as LPC and Haichao with the earlier turrets have made sure that they're keeping up in gold. As LGD clearing out their own jungle now, preparing for the potential Baron. More likely the potential Dragon that's up in a minute 30. It's a Cloud Dragon for number 3. It's a Cloud Soul, I should say. So for WE, when they have an Ashe, when they have a Jace as well, remembering that movement speed applies every time he changes forms. It would be so nice for WE, who have already stacked it up to pick up this Dragon. His teleport's going to be burned. And this is showing that WE want to get themselves the potential start or the bait in to find a pick in this game.
It's really difficult for LGD. If they don't have vision and they are forced to go towards that Baron, JinJiao's caught. Depth
charge, though, on a support. He's pretty far away. Shanks doesn't have the empowered Shock Blast, but they do find damage on the support. Are WE going to translate that into the Dragon or the Baron? I mean, it's too far away. And just like that, their teleport is going to be down after that engage.
It is, but taking away the Leona Flash is valuable, because the way that the game is playing out right now, WE have vision, and they really need like a Flash Leona combo to combo into Tristana and Ziggs, absolutely removing someone from the map. No Flash on Leona, harder combo to make. WE, it's a sizable victory for them. And with both objectives coming up on both sides of the map, LGD, maybe they'll have an option to kind of split objectives across the rift, but I don't think they can afford to give up that Baron.
Not at all. No one can. It's 15 seconds till Dragon. No eyes on bot side as Cube, he's still pushing bot side wave. WE have flooded out the vision from LG as Haichao has actually just burned his teleport for top. So LGD trying as, wow, wait, weird buffer as Lwandy gets the hook in. Good ulti from LPC, though, as the ult from Heng flies through. It's the engaged counter from LGD, though. Lwandy's dead first, but Hope is still alive. Watch this Ashe. The spacing's got to be massive again, but Haichao's angle could be bigger as Decade looking to run in. Can't get the range. A volley again. Hope kiting away. This Ashe is pathing away in slowly but surely, but hit by a bouncing bomb. Even more big as Haichao the new threat. Shanks with range. LGD low, but not low enough that they can't still threaten the Baron.
Gonna get themselves a teleport back in from Decade. They don't have great HP bars. One more Shock Blast in the right spot, and that's a lost fight for LGD. That's why they're not bold enough to go towards it. I think they think, look, if we just reset now, yes, we take the smaller loss of losing the Dragon for nothing, but at least we're not giving over our lives completely. Time is not yet now for them to really kind of like pop off in this game. It feels like maybe you get a third item on Ziggs, a fourth item, maybe the situation changes a bit because you can just one-shot Hope or Shanks on the backline with a good enough combo. But it does feel like LGD, like the way many Ziggs bot lane compositions find themselves in, feels like they're stalling out. WE are really curtailing their options in this game.
Still trying to utilize that range, though. And now with Soul Point coming up, or rather Soul itself. And we'll go back and look at the replay as WE forces engage again onto JinJiao, who can just absorb the damage.
Envyy, I think if that Maokai ult connects in as well, that's a very clean kill. Leona is very core to this composition. I understand why they're focusing them, because you need that CC combo for the Ziggs to not be skill shot reliant anymore. You just hit the stun target. It's very easy. JinJiao, though, without flash again, WE removing as many tools as possible.
Shanks going to be clearing out mid as LGD make their way around the Baron once more. Decade isn't here, but has the teleport available as WE move into River quite calmly. They've got 5 members towards this lane, or rather towards this worm. And for now, Shanks looking to match as we keep dancing around Baron. It's back and forth, and again, I guess both teams just don't want to give it away.
I think both teams have an inability to tank the Baron against the range advantage of the other team, because like, as much as Jace is really long range and Ziggs is really long range, neither of them want to be sat in the pit getting hit by the other one. That's the difficult part of it, right? Both of them can answer to each other, so Baron is not going to be easy to take. You need to win a fight first, and then the Baron's yours. When you take that Baron, I think the game's pretty much over. Trying to survive a siege against these Baron sieges is so annoying on either side of this coin. So neither team wants to be the team to make that mistake around the objective.
Well, LGD now forced out yet again. Could be the timer here for WE, just playing it nice and slow until that dragon when they get a natural flip anyway. As Meteor might be spotted out here as well as he goes over the wall. It's
Teleport.
a little bit ambitious. Cube is the one who's caught out for the time being. That TP, as you mentioned, is Decade in a good counter-strike spot, but Cube still keeping the team at bay as the Mega Inferno Bomb does work, but look at Hope free firing again. Shanks finally jumping in with Renans in a tight corridor. Hope gets value, but WE are the ones who are chunked a little bit more. It's LPC who's untouched and continues firing away that WE are threatened by.
That's a top draw depth charge to aid the retreat, though. Lwandy, he's had some great hooks this game. That depth charge arguably saves his team. Felt like that should have been at least one kill going the way of LGD. Could land the kill, though. Shanks now caught out.
Oh, man, trying to jump in, change it, almost kills Haichao, but not with Meteor there. There's the mid laner down. Haichao's low, but he does have teleport to reset here, Nymaera, if, again, they want to threaten.
Well, you don't have the Jace to poke out around the objective now. What do? You've lost a load of your ultimates. This could be the moment for LGD. They're being a little slow to start it, but I think this is the right call.
Okay, that teleport does come in now. Last Whisper picked up by Haichao on the way back as well. The Tristana, a big source will watch for damage. A satchel charge starts us off at 5k over the back of the pit. WE now need an angle, need a steal here. Smite from Heng. Needs to be on point. They're looking for the fight. JinJiao runs into the back. LGD say forget the Baron. They're running in because Hope's been caught out. It's the all-in as LGD find the mark yet again. Solar Flare predicted too. JinJiao having a game of it as well, as LGD might be last place, but they are playing like they're first.
It's LGD in game 1, baby. The one time JinJiao has flash to use it aggressively, WE suffer for it. Shanks is back. He can get a shock blast into the right place. This is still a little dangerous.
A little bit if they can get some burst. Heng is going to try and make this 2v5. Haichao's the one hit at 3k. Flash available, but Heng now jumped on to zone out. Wants the kill on Haichao, and Baron will go down, but they at least take one. WE looking for more chases. Shock blast enhanced. If only he saw those squishy carries running away. Shanks still wants to follow this up with Cloud Rip, but Baron enhanced recalls make it difficult. As Shanks yet again won't find any priority targets, and Baron goes to LGD.
That was a dance and a half. LGD, they knew that they had to go towards the Baron at that point. While Shanks was not there to dish out the damage while they were sat on the objective, it still gets close, really, really close. With WE, they used too many ultimates in that retreat and that kind of lost fight just beforehand. LGD pounce. And again, it's them in game 1. They've always found ways to come in with a different strategy to upset teams in the first game of a series. They've been very successful at that, regardless of their 1-10 series scoreline. We are going towards Soul Point, though. 10 seconds until that spawns WE. What can they do with that?
Whoa. I will say, Haichao with that teleport coming late to this show. His pick off at the end maybe gives WE Soul, but we'll have to see. It's going down fast. Poke from Shanks hitting into Meteor means nothing here as Lwandy is zoned away. Cube now doing his own zoning, but Soul just goes over as Cube is left on his lonesome. He's going to be permafrost and dies. Solar Flare on the way out as well as Mega Inferno Bomb does a bit of work, but it's WE who find themselves Soul in this game despite being down 4,000 gold.
That is a pretty awkward moment because you are still against the Baron, and this is 2 demolitionists with that. You have to be very aware that if you are allowing LGD to hit turrets with the Baron buff, they're just gonna explode in seconds. So WE, without the top laner, what can they do to defend against this siege?
I'm going to be called out. Zenith Blade over the wall, but I mean, he can turn this. JinJiao's team isn't there yet, and there's range. As he goes golden, he might still be dead, as now they can just push it forward. Depth charge onto Meteor. It's a 4v4. Support now down part of the engage tool, and Decade trench lined. Counter-Strike comes through, and Lwandy, man, he's working for an MVP if WE can win this.
That he is. He's been on point with all of his skill shots. His impact in teamfights has really been felt, but that is not the Baron power play which LGD would have wanted. They never really managed to get up towards those towers, and now they're going to have to wait realistically until the next Baron. That's not really what they wanted. They went a little too far forward without the Ziggs ultimate, so while JinJiao went over the wall, there's nothing really to combo with it. Meteor misses his ultimate too, a bit of an awkward moment from the Sejuani. WE feels like they've survived the worst of what LGD potentially could have thrown at them.
For now, at the very least, Baron is going to wear off 15 seconds, but Soul lasts forever. And WE are still with the Cloud Soul here in this game. We've still got hope with an Infinity Edge as well. So I'm just keeping my reservations here about this game for now. There you go, final wear off of the Baron. Lwandy with an angle, but WE, I believe they've been spotted here. They know at least hope is here as well. Haichao comes from the other side, and they're still trying to push for mid with the amount of wave clear they have. But hey, the poke from Shanks, dismaying them to go up to the top side as Cube. Is he caught out again? Haichao chasing with Meteor as well. Permafrost will be there. Cube taking a lot of damage from this Tristana too. As Arrow, almost landing.
Looks like that ult is going to fizzle out into nothing. And that's the combo you're looking for, trying to corral LGD into the Arrow. Use that Maokai ult to force them into the path of that big ultimate. Not able to pull it off at this time. Both teams playing the disengage fairly well. It's been pretty hard to land a lot of this damage, but Haichao to get a huge shock blast. If you don't get that good disengage, you can see the damage which lands very quickly afterwards.
The damage from Shanks all game long has been relevant. 3 items now, not Atma's Impaler, wow. Serelda's Grunt has been picked up here by Shanks. As they continue looking for a pick, Scuttle going to be taken by Meteor as he just Arctic Assaults out. Luckily, his flash was not available. But still, 3k gold lead. Baron in 145. Elder is not synced with that timer. So we're just going to have to track these items, Nymaera. Track these items that are going to make or break this game. And leave it down to that last team fight, it feels.
Got to track those flashes as well, particularly JinJiao's. WE have put a lot of effort into removing that Leona flash, and it makes a lot of sense, right? When you draft a Ziggs, you either draft it with Nautilus, Leona, or Rakan. Anything that can push like 3 or 4 buttons and make sure someone doesn't move for like 4 or 5 seconds, so the ult is guaranteed to land. If you have that flash, it makes it much more easy to start off that combo. So WE, watch for them trying to catch out JinJiao if he's going on warding missions again. On the other side, LGD. Watch how close JinJiao is to Ziggs, because every time he's caught, there's every chance that he flashes into the enemy team and someone gets obliterated.
Very, very true. Decade now with an angle. As WE still this game, I mean, it feels like so far we've just been playing around with fire, waiting for some of these core carries. Haichao quite large and in charge, but LPC has had a great game on the Zig so far. Hope there's been very few arrows thrown out, but I guess the opportunity has always been synced up with people like Lwandy, people like Heng. So there has been really good coordination in that sense. But now 20 seconds till Baron, a minute 30 till Elder. Let's see how long this can be drawn out and what angle they want to pick, because Shanks is just sprinting it towards Decade in the bottom side. Try to get numbers advantage here with a double TP they can use afterwards.
It's a hull breaker on the Jax though, level 17. Jax is one of those champions where every single ability when maxed out is incredibly powerful. Silas is one of the other few like that as well. So you get up towards later levels, he is that powerful at level 18 when everything is maxed out. Hull breaker, hard to even take a 1v2 against him. 2v1 in that case. We're going back towards mid lane now. Mid lane priority gives you a much easier entrance into River.
Dredge line as well, but the engages are onto the tanks. Lwandy has to flash away. Decade positioning as well is going to be fine as Counter-Strike rolls in. Lwandy is out of the fight, but Decade is not. Maybe the TP wasn't good as Hope is now spacing with JinJiao too. Haichao jumps on in, and WE have just taken the fight out of the palm of the hands of the just in LGD. Cube zones them out while this will be enough health to start this Baron.
That is a lethal turnaround by Team WE. That teleport was way too deep. Disables his hull breaker as well, too close to his teammates. Not sure even that would have saved him in the depths of 4 different people. Team WE, they get themselves their first Baron of the game. LGD couldn't do much with their own buff. WE, especially with Shanks, buying up a Elixir of Wrath as well, coming out of base. He knows the time is now. Arrow onto JinJiao is not the most valuable. The Maokai ult, similarly, doesn't get the huge amount of damage that you really want. I think that Ziggs ult's where this fight changes, though. Shanks, Hope, they're not hit by it. They're not taking the huge amount of damage that can come out of the combo from LPC. And that's where the fight really turns around. Hope goes on the aggressive, Shanks on the aggressive too. LGD, they just cannot stop these carries once they start getting rolling.
Massive disrespect from Haichao, but we're going to pause on that because WE have already started off the Elder here with Baron buff in hand. Hope not even hitting the Elder. They're looking for the fight to try and end all fights as Arrow connects it in a choke. WE playing with fire against Ziggs, but they don't care as Cube runs to the backside just to die. Now LGD have numbers equal, but LPC's run out by Shanks as Hope has to run from the Meteor ultimate. Zonya's in the nick of time as red buff might take him out. It's so messy. LGD are turning it around. Haichao's getting resets. What are WE doing?
They just got completely mullered by the Ziggs bombs and the burn afterwards. There are so many items on that carry that it doesn't matter he's dead halfway through the fight. The damage was already done. Team WE, what have they done? They've completely thrown the game.
15 seconds for Lwandy, 25 for Cube and Heng, but it's a Tristana with a tank. They got a minion wave as well. It's just going to be over. No way.
It has to be at this point, right? You got Hullbreaker to keep your cannons healthy. You've got Tristana. LGD from the jaws of defeat snatch victory.
What the hell? Lwandy trying to delay, but he can't do anything. LGD. Well, that's one way to win a game one.
Yeah. And honestly, I think you can tell the difference in the fight that was just lost before that Baron, and then the fight around the back of the Elder Pit. The big difference is who does the Ziggs ult hit? The Ziggs ult in the second fight, the one which they ended up losing so horribly on the side of LGD,